Hey there. This video is for anyone who is seeking peace when they think about the election. And what I'm sharing here will work for all sorts of stressful situations. But my motivation for recording this video was specifically for the 2020 election. My name's Heather, if you don't know me, and I run Project Pollyanna. And I shot a video very similar to this a few days ago, and I had the community ask if I would be willing to share it publicly. So I'm re-recording it so it makes sense for you if you're not already in the community. Now, I'll put details about Project Pollyanna below this video, but in short, it's a group of people who are interested in creating a positive future. And we do that in all sorts of ways. But one way is talking about moving from a 3D to a 5D consciousness. Now, if this concept is new for you, 5D means moving from a place of judgment to a place where you realize there's no good or bad, there's no right or wrong. And cognitively, as humans, this is really difficult for us, right, to kind of wrap our minds around. So let me tell you a little story that may make this a little more real to you. And it's about a farmer, and maybe you've heard it. But the story goes something like this. The farmer is very poor, and he has only one horse, and one day the horse runs away, and the neighbors come to him and say, "Oh, we're so sorry, what poor luck." And he says, "Maybe." And then a few days later, the horse returns and brings with it a bunch of wild horses. And the neighbors are so excited for him, and they say, "What good fortune." And the wise farmer shrugs his shoulders and says, "Maybe." A few days later, his son is trying to train one of the wild horses, falls off, breaks his leg, and again, the neighbors come over, so sorrowful, and what tragedy has struck. And the farmer says, "Maybe." And then a few days later, the military come knocking on the door looking for able-bodied men to fight in a war. And of course, they have to pass over his son because he has a broken leg. And the neighbors say, "What good luck." And I'm sure at this point you can guess what the farmer says, right? Maybe. And I love this story because it just points out how in any given moment, something could happen that we'd be really excited about or really upset about. But the ultimate outcome, how this could really pan out, is unknown. So really, 5D consciousness invites you to become curious, right? It invites you to come with an open mind. And if you know anything about the character Pollyanna, before she was cheerful or an optimist, she was curious, right? Now, what happened was a couple weeks ago, I was personally really struggling with trusting the outcome of the election and releasing judgment related to the election. And so when I went into meditation, I asked Archangel Metatron if he wouldn't be willing to help me. Now, if you don't work with angels or you're new to this concept of archangels, I'm going to put some information below this video from a woman who has taught me so much, Maureen St. Germain. So I'll let her explain to you more about that. Metatron, you may be familiar with Metatron's cube, which is a sacred geometry figure that basically represents all creation. Okay, so Metatron's power is the power of love. And you can go to him when you need insight into a situation that seems impossible. So I just asked him for some help. And he gave me this very clear vision that I'm going to share with you. I'm going to close my eyes because it's easier for me to see it. Maybe you want to close your eyes too and journey along with me. But I'm instantly transported to this very dusty dirt road, and the sun is shining bright. And as I move down this road, I see that it ends in what looks like a forest. And this forest is made up of tall, slender, pine-like trees. And when I arrive, I see there's a path to the right and a path to the left. And you really can't see beyond the curve how either of these paths kind of pan out. Then I feel a touch on my shoulder, and I begin to move up and over, just floating over the forest. And what I see is that on one side, the path is full of obstructions, like large boulders that you'd have to crawl over and fallen trees. And the other path has all these switchbacks, so it looks really long, and it's overgrown with these thorny bushes. Okay, so you can see as you're floating over, there's these two paths, but honestly, neither of them looked appealing to me. Like, trails I wanted to go spend my morning on. Neither of them were well groomed and had these beautiful flowers and maybe these meditation pools. But you keep floating over this forest, and then you come to the end, and it ends in a meadow. And then you find yourself standing on this grass, and this grass is just brilliantly green, and it's that fresh new grass, just these tender little shoots of grass, and you just smell it. It's just beautiful. And then right before me is this huge glowing ball of light that's iridescent. And I don't go in, and I don't see anything specific, but I am just washed over with this feeling of calmness. And then I feel these heavy, warm hands. They feel kind of like grandfatherly, like a kind grandfather's hands on my shoulders. And then I hear a voice whispering, "You are love." And just every cell in my body starts vibrating this feeling, this sense of love. And maybe if you've got your eyes closed, if you're with me right now, just take a moment to feel what that feels like in your body when you remember, when you acknowledge that you are love. And this meditation gave me two gifts, right? This idea, this sense of a peace that surpasses all understanding. And it also motivated me to turn in, to go inward, right? So many great teachings teach something along the lines that could be summed up like this: love your neighbor as yourself. And when you look outside, I can tell you, I don't see a lot of that a lot of the time. And I believe one of the core reasons, the root cause, is that we don't care that much about ourselves. And so maybe this video will inspire you to spend a little less time on social media or arguing or talking about things that really, in some sense at this point, are beyond our control, and turning some of that energy to understanding your truth, who you are, remembering your divine nature. Because I believe could you imagine, one of my dreams is everyone in the whole world just takes a couple of minutes at the same time to be still and remember they are love. And maybe that sounds totally corny to you, but I just believe it would be a huge act that would profoundly change the way we experience reality. So maybe today, spend a couple minutes in stillness, take some time, prioritize being kind to your body, your mind, your spirit, your emotions. Maybe go spend some time in nature, or give your kids an extra long hug, or kiss your partner and tell them how much you appreciate them. And maybe hop on over to our community and check it out. If anything I've said here today resonates with you, I think you would really enjoy hanging out with us in the project. And if not, I hope you got something of value. I love you, and thanks for listening.